let's go ahead and get this homework. That's the last homework of the year, all knocked out. This one is 8-7 for the advanced kids. It's probably going to be something like 10-4. But let's go ahead and solve this. It says find the surface area of a cylinder. For number one, remember the surface area of a cylinder is going to equal 2 pi r squared. We're going to have to add that to 2 pi RH. Now 2 pi r squared means we're going to find the radius, which is 3 here. So we're going to have 2 times pi times 3 to the second power, replacing r with 3. And then we're going to add that to 2 times pi times 3, because r is over here. We're going to multiply another 3 in. And then h, and h is 10, right? 10. So this would be 10. Let's combine their numbers. I know 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 times 2 is 18. So this would be 18 pi. And I know this is 3 times 10 is 30, times 2 is 60. So this would be 60 pi. 18 pi and 60 pi make 78 pi. Now we're going to take 78 and multiply it to pi. 78 times 3.14 is equal to 244.49. So 244.49 or, oh, sorry, 92. And since this is feet, this should be feet squared. All right, number 3 is next. We're going to do the same thing. Take that same formula. Surface area is equal to 2 times pi r squared. I'm going to add that to 2 times pi times r times h. This time we see they gave us the diameter of 8. To find the radius, that's half of the diameter. So that's going to be half of 8, which is 4. So now we're going to have 2 times pi times 4 to the second power plus 2 times pi, again, r is 4, and multiply it to the height, which is 12.2. All right, well, 4 times 4 is 16, and 16 times 2 is 32. So this would be 32 pi. Now let's see, we've got 2 times 4 is 8, and now I got 8 times 12.2. I'll do that up here. 12.2 times 8. That's going to be 16, carry the 1. That's going to be 16 plus 1, that's 17. And this would be 8 plus 1, which is 9. And we're going to move that decimal right there. So we're looking at 97.6. All right. Now we're going to add these together. And 32 and 97.6, we'll just play it safe here and do it right there. 32 plus 97.6, that's going to equal 129.6. Times pi. So now I'm going to multiply 129.6 times 3.14. That'll give me my answer, 406.94. 406.94 millimeters squared. All right, let's go and scroll down to number 5. It says find the circumference of a circle with a diameter of 17. If I have a circle, the diameter is 17. Remember, circumference can be found with circumference equals the diameter times pi. If the circumference is 17, or the diameter is 17, I can say the circumference is equal to 17 times 3.14. Well, 17 times 3.14 is equal to 5338. As for the circumference, that's a distance. So that's going to be 53.38 feet. All right, next is number 7. It says, find the mean, median, and mode of the data. Well, okay, let's do the mean first. For the mean, I have to add up all these numbers, then divide it by the number of numbers. So let's add them up. I'm going to have 43 plus 47 plus 43 again, plus 44 plus 45 plus 46 plus 47. That equals 315. Now we're going to take that and divide it by the number of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm dividing this by 7. That equals 45. So the mean is 45. All right. Next, we're going to find the median. To do the median, we have to put these in order. The smallest one out of all these is 43. Then there's another 43. Then there's a 44. Then there's a 45. Then there's a 46. Then there's a 42 47s. Let's see, if I do this, now I got to find the middle. So I'm going to highlight each end. Knock off that one, knock off that one, that one, that one, that one, that one. That means my median has to be 45. So the median is 45. Next, I need to find the mode. That's the one most often seen. 43 is often seen, but so is 47. So I'm going to go with the mode is equal to 43 and 47. All right, that's the mean, median, mode. Let's go to number 9. You have 8 and 10 to do. Number 9 says the height and the base area of the cylinder are given. Find the volume of the cylinder. All right. Remember, the volume formula is volume equals big B times H. That big B stands for the formula of the base. Now remember, it says the height and the base of the cylinder are given. The base is 25 pi. So this is 25 pi. And we've got to multiply that to the height, which is 2. Well, 25 times 2 is 50. So this would be 50 pi. 50 times pi. Oh, it says write your answer in terms of pi. So we don't even need to do that. I would put 50 pi. All right, you have number 10 to do, so I'm going to go to number 11. It says, find the volume of the cylinder. Find the volume of the cylinder. So we're going to use volume equals base, which is the formula of the base, times the height. All right, so the formula of the base, we have a cylinder here, so this is a circle. The formula is going to be pi r squared for the base. And then we're going to multiply that to the height. Well, you know the radius is 9, because that's 9 right there. So this is going to be pi times 9 squared times the height, which is 6. 9 squared is 9 times 9, which is 81. 81 times 6 times pi will be my answer. So let's see, let's find out what 81 times 6 is. That's going to be 486. Now we have to take 46 and multiply it to pi. And that's going to give us 1,526.04. 1,526.04. Let's see if I got all that correct. 1,526.04. Good. This is feet, so this would be feet cubed. All right, three-dimensional. Remember, this is an approximation. It's just going to be close because whether I use 3.14 or I use 22/7, it's going to go ahead and vary my answer just a little bit. Number 13 is next. Again, I'm going to use my volume formula. Volume equals the base times the height. The base, again, is a cylinder. So, again, it's going to be pi r squared. And we're going to multiply that to the height. All right, pi r squared is basically going to be 3.14. The radius is 7. So we'll put 7 squared. And the height is 5, so times 5. We have to do exponents before anything, following PEMDAS. We know this is going to be 3.14 times 49. 7 times 7 is 49, times 5. Well, let's try it. We got 3.14 times 49 times 5. That's 769.3. 769.3 feet cubed. All right. You have number 14. I have number 15. Again, we're using that volume formula. Volume equals big base times height. The base, again, is a cylinder. It's going to be pi r squared times h. I know that pi is 3.14. I know the radius is half of 8, which is 4 squared. And my height is 16. Well, I know that 4 squared is 4 times 4, and that's 16. This would be 3.14 times 16 times 16. All right, let's put these all together. We got 3.14 times 16 times 16. The answer is 803.84. 803.84 centimeters cubed. And if you wanted to approximate this, you could say it's about 80 or 304 really, right? Because this is going to be rounded up to 304 centimeters cubed. All right, let's go to number 17. 8 or 16 was yours. 17 says, without calculating which of the solids has a greater volume, Well, I know this one's going to be length times width times height. Remember, it says without calculating, right? So no matter what number it is, we're multiplying the same number altogether, right? That's going to be the same number cubed. Over here, we're taking pi r squared, multiplying it to the height. Well, I know all of these are 8. I know this radius here is going to be 8, right? And then I know the height is going to be 8. So this is going to be 8 times, oh, actually, this is going to be half of it, the radius. So that's going to be 4. So this would be 4 times 4, which is 16, and 16 times 8. This is going to be 8 times 8 times 8, right? So this is actually going to be, I'm thinking, if this height is 8 and this height is 8, and the width of this is 8 and the width of this is 8, this is a circle that will go inside this box, right? Which means the box has to have bigger volume because the circle is going to be inside of it, right? Does that make sense? All that extra space. So I'm going with the one with the greater volume is the box. Then it says to explain. So if I had to put that into words, I would say, let's see here. The volume of the cube is greater because the cylinder can be placed inside the cube with room to spare in the corners. All right. Let's go on to the next one. So for me, that's going to be number 19. It says, find the height of the cylinder. It gives us the volume. So when we use the volume formula, volume equals base times height. And remember, this base is going to be the form of a circle there. So pi r squared divided by 8 or multiplied to 8 is going to equal 3,785. And it looks to me like this is going to be the radius, 8 here. So now I can rewrite this to show that this is going to be 8. So this, since it was pi r squared, it would be 8, right, squared. And the height is h. We don't know what that is yet. All right, I know that 8 squared is 64. We bring everything else down. I know 64 times pi, 64 times 3.14 equals 200.96. So now we've got 200.96 times h is equal to 3,785. Remember, to get h alone, we have to divide by 200.96. So that means we'll have to divide this by 210.96. Let's go ahead and put that in our calculator. We're taking 3,785 and we're dividing it by 210.96. That's going to give us, wow, I think it's going to round up closely to 18. So it's about 18. And that equals H. I just realized something. I put a 1 over here. I thought that was a 1 anyways, but I know now it's a 0. It's going to have to make me recalculate this. Sorry about that. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's going to be close to the same number. Now let's try this. 3,785 divided by 200.96. All right. Now we have 18.8. So we'll just put that about 18.8. That's the height. Since we were talking about, let's see here, centimeters, this would be 18.8 centimeters. That's it, because we're talking height, one dimension. All right, let's move on down. You have number 20 to do. I have number 21. It says a cylindrical hazardous waste container has a diameter, so we're talking about a cylinder here, has a diameter all the way across of 1.5 feet. So 1.5. And a height of 1.6. Feet. So it says about how many gallons of hazardous waste can the container hold when one cubic foot holds 7.5 gallons. Well, let's solve the formula. Remember, the formula for a circle is pi r squared. We have to multiply that to the height. The radius is 1.5, so now we've got 3.14. Going to multiply that to 1.5 squared, and then we're going to multiply that to the height, which is 1.6. So let's count 1.5 times 2. You see that's going to be 3.14 times, I think that's 2.75. I'm going to double check that, times 1.6. When I take my calculator and to solve that, I see 1.5 times 1.5 is 2.25. Sorry about that. 2.25. Now I got to multiply all these numbers together. I got 2.25. I'm going to multiply that to 3.14. And then I'm going to multiply that to 1.6. That's going to equal 11.304. All right, so remember, this was in feet. So this is feet cubed. We're saying that one of these feet is going to be equal to this, right? So that puts us at 1 foot is equal to 7.5 gallons. We want to know how many gallons it's going to be over here. We're going to cross multiply. I've got to take, let's see, 11.304 and multiply it to 7.5. That has to equal 1 times x, which is x, right? So let's go ahead and multiply those numbers together. We get 11.304 times 7.5 That's going to be 8478. 8478. 84.78. And suddenly I'm realizing I did something really messed up. I forgot this is radius and they gave me the diameter. Oh boy. This is going to change everything I just did. I have to apologize. I know you're following along and it didn't hit me until I went and double checked my work because it didn't seem right. So now I've got to put all of this in perspective correctly. I got to take half of 1.5. So first I'm going to take 1.5 and divide it by 2. That's going to give me 0.75. Now I got to take 0.75 and multiply it to itself times 0.75. That's going to equal 0.565. Now I can multiply all these together. Now we're going to multiply this to 3.14. And we're going to multiply it to 1.6. That gives us 2.826. 2.826. Is that right? 2.826. Yeah, 2.8. About 2.8. All right, now we know this is feet cubed. And we know over here it said that 1 foot cubed is going to be equal to 7.5 gallons. So they're looking to see how many gallons over here. Now we're going to cross multiply. Now this is going to give me x, right? X times 1 is x, is going to be equal to 2.826 times 7.5. Okay, and let's solve this. I've got 2.826. I'm going to multiply it to, let's see, I believe we have, yes, 7.5. That equals 21,195. And that's going to be, that's changing it to gallons, isn't it? All right. So if you're rounding this up, it's about 21 gallons. All right, 22 is yours. That means 23 is mine. It says problem solving a traditional square bale of hay is actually the size and shape of a rectangular prism. That makes sense. Here's the circular part. There's the rest of it. Its dimensions are 2 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet. Okay, 2 feet by 2 feet by 4 feet. Well, the 4 feet is here, right? Then it says 2 feet by 2 feet. So that means it must be 2 foot wide and 2 foot tall. That means the diameter is 2 feet. How many square bales contain the same amount as one large round bale? Okay. If I was to do this, I would again realize that we have volume equals big base times height. We see that the diameter is going to be 2. That means the radius is 1. So when I have pi r squared times the height, which is 4, I know this is 3.14 times, well, that's going to be 1 to the second power. So that's going to be 1. We're multiplying this to 4. Well, now I know 3.14 times 1 is 3.14. And now we're multiplying that to 4. I believe this is going to give us 12 point, let's say 56. Double check here. 3.14 times 4. Yes, 12.56. So that's going to be feet cubed. And I have to apologize once again. I double checked my work and I realized that I put the height as 4. We already said that 4 was how many feet it was high. I got confused because at the beginning it says a traditional square bale of hay is actually the shape of a rectangular prism. So that means this bale of hay is going to be like this. And that's going to be 2 by 2 by 4. They're asking how many of these are going to be inside of this. Wow. How many square bales contain the same amount of hay as one large round bale? Wow. All right. Hold on a sec. This is going to take a little bit more work than I thought. First of all, we're going to take all this, erase it. I have to apologize again. I'm not reading the questions very good tonight, am I? First, let's solve for the bale of hay that we've got. This big round one here. So this one is going to be, if this is 4, then that's going to be 2 square. We're multiplying that to 3.14, and then the height, that's going to be 5. So this is going to be 3.14 times 4 times 5. I know 4 times 5 is 20. Now we have 20 times 3.14. I know 2 times 3.14 is 6.28. So 20 will make this decimal go over. That'll be 62.8. All right, that's how much this is, and that's 5 cubed. And since this cube is going to be 4 times 2 times 2, that's actually going to be 16. So now I've got to take 62.8 and divide it by 16. All right, when I take 62.8 and divide it by 16, that gives me 3.925. 3.925. And remember, this talked about how many square bales. We're going to get close to 4, really close to 4. Okay, let's scroll down again. That was 23. You got 24, so now I have 25. It says, reasoning, a cylinder has a surface area of 1,850 square meters and a radius of 9 meters. So it has a surface area of this and a radius of this. Estimate the volume of the cylinder. So first of all, let's find out what the radius is. For surface area, we said that the surface area formula for a cylinder was 2 times pi r squared plus 2 times pi rh. Now the surface area just said was 1,850. That's going to be equal to, well, 2, and we know what pi is. The radius, they said, was 9, so that's going to be 9 square. Actually, we know what the radius is. We're trying to find, I guess, the height here, aren't we? Let's see. Estimate the volume. I'm going to double check this. Volume equals the base times the height. The base of a cylinder is going to be pi r squared, and then times the height. All right, so that's where the issue is. We got to find h, because we already know that the r is 9, so that's 9 squared. This is going to be pi times 81, and then times the height. We don't know what the height is yet. We are going to find it over here. We're going to add this to 2 times pi times 9 and times h. All right, remember this is 1850. We're going to take 9 times 9 is 81, and 81 times 2, let's see here, 81 times 2 equals 162. This is 162 times pi. Next, we've got 9 times 2, which is 18 times pi times h. All right, this is actually a plus. I can't combine these. These are not like terms, because this has an h at the end. All right, so I'm going to put this 1850 here. And I'm going to solve this to make it a number. I got 162. I'm going to multiply it to 3.14. That's equal 508.508.68. Point 68. We're going to add this to 18 pi. What is 18 times pi? 18 times pi gives it 56.52. 56.52 times h. All right, and now that's going to be equal to 1,850. I'm going to subtract 508.65, or 68, excuse me, from both sides. What's that going to leave me here? Let's see, we've got 1,850 subtracting 508.68. That's going to equal 1,341, 1,341.32, 0.32. That's going to be equal to 56.52 times h. We know we're going to have to divide 56.52, which means we've got to divide it from this side. 56.52. All right, let's solve this. We got 1,341.32 divided by 56.52. That equals 23, actually, what about 23.73? 23.73 is equal to h. All right, so now I can replace h over here with 23.73. Multiply it to 81, then multiply it to 3.14. So let's multiply these together. I got 3.14. I'm going to multiply it to 81. I'm going to multiply that to 23.73. That's going to equal about 6,000. Was that 35? Yep, 6,035. We're just going to estimate it there because that's not bigger than 5. So that's about that. All right, and what are we talking about? The volume of it. So this would be meters cubed. All right, number 26 is yours to do. I think it's the last one. Thank goodness. I'm ending this, which is our last homework assignment. Thanks for meeting me here all the way to the end of the year. I appreciate all your help and work. Have a great night. See you in grading in class. Night.